The screen glows in the dark. The markets are open. And somewhere in the world, a trader just made more money in the last 4 hours than most people earn in a year. No boss, no commute, no ceiling. That image is real. But it is only half the story. The other half, the part no one films, is what it actually costs to get there. The years of silence, the losses that never made it into the highlight reel, the version of yourself you had to become before any of it was possible. This is not a story about luck. It is not a fantasy. This is what trading actually looks like, at every level, from the very first click to the moment you finally have everything you thought you wanted. Level 1. The beginning. You do not know what you are doing. That is the honest truth. You have opened an account with a few $100s, maybe 1,000. You found a YouTube video, or a tweet, or a friend who told you this was possible. And now you are here, staring at a chart that means almost nothing to you yet. Your income from trading is zero. It might actually be negative. Most beginners lose money in the first few months, and they lose it not because the markets are rigged, but because they are making decisions based on hope rather than logic. You buy because something is going up. You sell because you are scared. You do both at exactly the wrong time. Your environment is a bedroom, a kitchen table, a cramped desk. You are trading between shifts, or after school, or late at night when the house is quiet. There is no structure, no routine, just you, a screen, and the feeling that you are one good trade away from changing your life. The mindset at this level is built on excitement. You are in love with the idea of trading, the freedom it promises, the independence. You talk about it at dinner. You check your phone every few minutes. Every small win feels like proof that you are onto something real, but that does not last. The losses start to add up, and with them comes a question you were not prepared for. Is this actually something I can learn? Or am I just gambling? Most people never answer that question honestly. They keep depositing, keep trying, keep hoping that the next trade will turn everything around. And quietly, without ever making a single conscious decision to quit, they stop. Level 2. This is where most people fail. You are still here. That already puts you ahead of most people who started when you did. You have lost real money by now. Not catastrophically, but enough to sting. Enough to make you think twice before you click. And that hesitation, that friction, is actually the first sign of growth. You have started treating this differently. You are not trading on impulse anymore, or at least you are trying not to. You have a rough strategy. You are keeping a journal, or you have promised yourself you will start keeping one. You are watching the same charts you used to watch, but now you are starting to see structure in them. Patterns, levels, things that repeat. Your income is still not consistent. Some months you break even. Some months you lose. Occasionally, you have a week that feels like a breakthrough, and then the following week erases half of it. The emotional roller coaster is exhausting in a way that is hard to explain to people who have never traded. The market does not care about your confidence. It does not care about your analysis. It just moves. This is the level where discipline is built, or broken. You are learning that the hardest part of trading is not finding the right setup. It is following your own rules when everything in your body is telling you to do the opposite. It is sitting on your hands when you are itching to trade. It is closing a losing position before it becomes a disaster. None of that comes naturally. Every single one of those skills has to be earned. This is also the level where most serious traders develop a second income stream. You still have a job, or you are still in school, or someone else is covering the bills. Trading is not paying for your life yet. You are subsidizing it, and that pressure, the pressure to make it work before you run out of time or money or patience, is something you carry with you every single day. Level 3. This is where the pressure begins. Something has shifted. You cannot fully explain it, but the market feels different to you now. Not easy, never easy, but readable. You have seen enough setups repeat themselves that you have started to develop real conviction. Not the false confidence of a beginner who got lucky. Something harder and quieter than that. Something earned. You are consistently profitable for the first time. Not every month, but most of them. And the months you lose, you understand why. That understanding is everything. It means you are not at the mercy of the market anymore. You are in a conversation with it. Your income from trading has started to become meaningful. You might be making a few $1,000s a month, maybe more. Not enough to walk away from everything else yet, but enough to prove the concept. Enough to make the sacrifice feel worth it. People in your life have started to notice that you are doing something real here, but the pressure at this level is different from anything you have felt before. Because now you have something to protect. Before, losses were painful but survivable. Now, A bad month feels like a threat. You have built a reputation, at least in your own mind. You have built a system. And the fear of watching it fall apart is sometimes more paralyzing than the fear of losing money. That is when the real problem starts. Overtrading. Revenge trading. The belief that because you are good, you can take bigger risks. This level has ended more promising careers than the first two combined. Not because the traders lacked skill, because they confused skill with invincibility. The market has a way of finding that belief and dismantling it with brutal efficiency. Level 4. The full-time leap. You made the decision. Maybe it was calculated, maybe it was impulsive, but either way, trading is now your job. The safety net is gone. There is no salary hitting your account at the end of the month. There is no paid time off. There is no one to call in sick to. There is just you and the market, every single day, and the outcome is entirely your responsibility. The freedom of this moment is real. You feel it in the mornings when your alarm goes off, and you realize you chose when to get up. You feel it when you travel and bring your laptop, and the work comes with you. You feel it in the absence of a commute, a manager, a uniform. All of it is gone, and for a while that feeling is everything you imagined it would be. But income at this level is volatile in a way that changes how you think about money. A great month does not feel like a bonus. It feels like a buffer, because you know a losing month is coming. You do not know when, but you know it is coming, and you have to be ready for it financially and psychologically. Most traders who go full-time underestimate that psychological cost. The same volatility that created the upside now sits on your chest every morning when you open your charts. Your responsibilities have multiplied. You are your own risk manager, your own accountant, your own performance coach. There is no one to tell you when you are off, no one to pull you out of a bad trading week and say, take a day, come back fresh. You have to be that person for yourself, and most people have never had to do that before. It takes years to get good at it. This is also the level where isolation becomes real. Trading is a solitary profession. Your friends are at the office. They are having lunch together, complaining about the same meetings, celebrating the same small promotions. Your life looks nothing like that anymore. And while you would never trade places with them, there are moments, quiet Tuesday afternoons when the markets are slow and you have not spoken to anyone since yesterday morning, where the weight of that solitude lands on you in ways you did not expect. Leveling 5. The compound effect. The accounts are growing, not because you got lucky, because you have been doing this long enough that the math is starting to work in your favor. Small, consistent edges, compounded over hundreds of trades, over months and years, have turned into something that looks extraordinary from the outside. But from the inside, it still feels like work. Because it is. Your income is now in a range that most people will never see. Not because they are not capable, but because they were not willing to spend years being bad at something before they became good at it. You were. And now the money reflects that. You are funding a lifestyle that you designed, not one that someone else designed for you. But the problems at this level are not about money anymore. They are about scale. Your strategies do not always work at higher position sizes. The edge you built with a small account can disappear when you trade larger, because you start to affect the market itself. You have to rebuild parts of your system. You have to think differently about execution, about liquidity, about timing. Success here creates entirely new problems. You are also starting to think about legacy, about what happens to this if you step away, about whether this is truly sustainable, or whether you have been riding a favorable environment that will eventually shift. The best traders at this level are deeply humble. Not publicly necessarily, but internally. They know how many ways this can go wrong. That knowledge keeps them sharp. Level 6. The top of the mountain. And everything it costs. You have built something real. A track record, a reputation, possibly a fund, or a firm, or a network of people who follow your work. Your name means something in certain rooms. Your calls carry weight. And the financial freedom you imagined at the beginning, the version you could barely picture back then, is now simply your life. You wake up when you want. You trade when you want. You take months off when the market does not suit your style and the world does not end. The accounts continue to grow through systems you have built and automated and refined over years. The machine runs. You maintain it. But here is what no one tells you about reaching this level. The pressure does not disappear. It transforms. When you managed your own small account, a loss hurt your wallet. Now, if you manage other people's money, A loss hurts people who trusted you. That is a different weight entirely. Some traders at this level describe it as the heaviest thing they have ever carried, and success at this scale attracts attention that is not always comfortable. Competitors study you. People try to reverse engineer what you have built. You become visible in ways that require you to protect what you have created. The openness and curiosity that defined you at the beginning has to be balanced now against the reality that information is competitive and trust is hard to rebuild once it is broken. This is where everything changes. Not in your account, but in your identity. You are no longer just a trader. You are the person who decided years ago to keep going when it would have been far easier to stop. That decision compounded into a life. And now the question is not whether you can make money. The question is what you are going to do with the one you have built. What never changes. You can rise from a bedroom screen to a fund managing tens of millions. The numbers change. The environment changes. The scale of the problems changes. But certain truths remain constant at every single level, and they are worth knowing before you start, because they will still be true when you finish. Discipline is always the ceiling, not intelligence, not technology, not access to better data. Every trader at every level is constrained first and foremost by their ability to follow a plan when their emotions are screaming at them to abandon it. That never gets easier. You simply get better at managing the noise. Losses never stop hurting. They get smaller relative to your account as you grow, but they never become neutral. The traders who last are not the ones who stopped caring about losses. They are the ones who learn to process them quickly and move on without carrying the weight into the next trade. The market will always be bigger than you, no matter how sophisticated your models, how refined your edge, how deep your experience. The market is a collective of millions of decisions, driven by forces that no single person can fully predict or control. Accepting that is not weakness. It is the foundation of every sustainable trading career. And finally, the freedom you are chasing is real. It exists. People have it, but it was never free. It was purchased with years of unglamorous, repetitive, often discouraging work. It was purchased with losses absorbed and lessons extracted from them. It was purchased with the willingness to keep going when every rational voice in your life was suggesting you stop. The screen is still glowing. The markets are still open. The question is never whether the opportunity exists. The question is whether you are willing to pay what it actually costs, not in money, but in time, in patience, and in the very particular kind of courage it takes to keep showing up before you are any good at this.